Hello, goodbye, and hello again. Welcome back to Drifter Carbon and to another Minecraft texture pack review. Today we're taking a look at Pixelmobs Mashup by Pixels and Blocks. It's 990 Minecraft coins, and I don't remember how big it was. I don't remember what the download size was. I downloaded this a while ago. Anyway, but it's currently in the Marketplace Pass if you're watching this when the video came out. The description says includes Nether update textures, tame, battle, and explore with this epic mashup pack. Adventure in the world into the world with your tamed pixel mob and battle against bosses to save all 10 cities. Discover loot, beat parkour, and solve puzzles to reach the final dragon. Adventure map with 75 tameable mobs and boss mobs. 12 boss mobs rather. Texture pack with colorful animals, 17 skins, and 1 free skin. So not a whole lot of this description is going to apply much to this video because I don't think I'll be looking at the world that comes with this. I'm mostly focused on the texture pack today because this is a texture pack review. So yeah, the colorful animals and stuff, we'll see some of those. We'll see whatever ones are the default Minecraft mobs, whatever they look like in the texture pack. And we'll go ahead and scroll down and look at the skins too, just because it's part of the pack, and this is technically a texture. So they're going for kind of a Pokemon trainer aesthetic with these, and I think they've done a good job. There's detail in the outfits and so forth. So there's some like NPCs here too. There's actually several pages of different I guess you'd call them villagers that you can dress up as, NPCs that have different jobs in the world that comes with the mashup pack. Anyway, if you've not seen one of these videos before, how this works is I show off all the textures in a pack and then I give my final thoughts. This one does specifically say that it was like from the Nether update era, which I looked that up and it was 2020. So this pack may not have been updated in the last 5 years. So take that as you will. Let's go ahead and jump on in though. By the way, if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you enjoy this video, please leave it a like. So here we are in the texture pack review world. Looks like axolotls as a general concept may be too new for this pack because like we've got this is what the regular bucket of water looks like in this pack, and it looks different from the I think that's just the default bucket of axolotl. So anyway, throw a snowball. That's what throwing a snowball looks like in this pack. Wind chargers are too new. Anyway, let's start with things that grow. So here's your trees. We have another pack that's kind of going for that. Well, this one's very specifically imitating Pokemon, so I guess they are kind of going for a very retro look. But I think the tree trunk textures so far are fine. And the baby trees that are actually custom. Here's the mushrooms. There you go. They got some detailed, or not necessarily detailed, but some, decorative mushrooms here. There's our carved pumpkin and jack-o'-lantern. Yeah, this definitely has not been updated since the pitcher plant and the sniffer were added. So that, that's disappointing that they haven't gone back in and edited this yet. Also check out the grass texture. It's not just like a solid green block. There's actually a texture to it. But it's mostly like green squares. Here's different flowers. Some fun flower designs there. There's the sunflower. Let's move over this way. The stuff, the Pale Garden stuff is definitely too new. Yeah, here's the giant mushrooms. Let's look at logs and planks. Here's all the different wood types, the ones that are actually custom, that is. Some of it's too new. quite a bit of it is too new. And the planks, same story. Not necessarily the highest detail we've ever seen on some of these blocks, but there's enough like texture to it. It's not just a solid color or anything. Doesn't look like there's variations within individual plank designs. Here's dirt, sand, and gravel. Dirt, sand, gravel, and moss, rather. Don't want to forget the moss. Yeah, the suspicious sand and suspicious gravel are definitely too new. Sandstone. Very, like, not used to seeing such a dark sandstone here. For the, I guess that's like normally the red sandstone is like almost black. Here's stone and stuff. Yep. I think that, well, it's all got the same, I guess, pixelated style to it. It's not always immediately obvious what blocks are just by looking at them, but polished stone. Here's cobblestones, some of which is too new. Here's bricks. Decent enough brick design. That's kind of fun. Looks like a robot or like a, I don't know, like a man with a mustache and a unibrow. Here's stone bricks, blocks, etc. Some of the ones that are custom are fun. Kind of almost a maze-like, or not maze-like, but you know, reminds me of something you'd see in a Greek temple or something. That one. Here's the glass. It is nice and easy to see through the glass, which is good. Should make the mob enclosures later that are made of glass a little easier to see. Here's wool and concrete powder and concrete. These are not very different from each other. I mean, you know, the wool and the concrete powder look similar, especially the concrete powder and the concrete. Terracotta. At least has a different texture to it, different pattern to it. Glazed terracotta. Yeah, these are fun. Yeah, we've definitely seen less detailed glazed terracottas before. Here's ore. You can tell where the ore is as opposed to regular stone. Some of it may not stand out as much as I might like. Like this, I think that's the iron, and it might be a little. You might not immediately see it if you're running through a cave or something. Nether ore. Deep slate apparently is too new in general. Amethyst, I think is not custom either. There's our random lonely magma block. Doesn't look like it's... Well, okay, I guess it is glowing, so it is slightly animated. Sponges, you can definitely tell the difference between the wet and the dry. Here's light sources. Pretty standard stuff. That's too new, of course. Campfires. Miscellaneous light sources, only some of which is custom. Here's your signs. So the biggest complaint that I have about this pack so far is its age, because a lot of stuff just isn't new enough or isn't old enough to be in this pack. But the signs that are there are perfectly readable. You know, they don't pop so much as to be difficult to read. Hanging signs are too new in general. Monster spawner. Here's fences and gates. Dried kelp block. Diamond, lapis, gold, emerald, and redstone blocks. The iron block. These are, you know, these are fine. Those are kind of just like colored squares with a little fancy border around them. Raw copper, gold, and iron. I guess it's too new. I wasn't expecting those to be too new, but well, maybe those aren't. I don't know. I think they are too new. Lodestone, Prismarine, only some of which is new or custom. Slime block, honey, the hay bale, the bone block. Here's quartz. Those are fun. I feel like you could decorate with some of these blocks. Copper in general appears to be too new. Here's a ladder. The doors. Let's look at doors. They do have some doors with windows in them, which I like to see. Yeah, these are fine. The ones that are actually here are fine. I have no major complaints about them. Some of them are a little simple, but other than that, the trap doors, kind of similar to the regular doors. But you could use at least 3 of these for benches or couches, couch arms, bookcases, etc. Looks like there's only one bookcase pattern. Here's an enchanting table. Let's look at the beds. Looks like there's one pattern for the bed, and they're just different colors. They're okay. They're not really knocking my socks off. They're not doing really anything all that fancy with the beds. Here's the crafting tables and villager job tables. Those are fine. The crafter, of course, is too new by a considerable margin. Furnaces. Cute enough furnaces. Here's anvils and grindstones. Now, if you look very closely, you can tell the difference between the different levels of damage on the anvil, but I like to see a little more contrast on the cracks in the anvil to make it easier to read. Here's cauldrons. That's lava. That's a potion. Is the potion animated? I guess it is. Here's chests. You can tell which one is trapped. The barrel, jukebox, and note block look fun. Don't think there's any special, custom sounds in this pack. Empty armor stand, beacon, the bell, regular bell sound, iron bars, paintings, top 2 rows, too new, far too new. So we're just looking at these ones. Yeah, kind of going for a low pixel count design, but these designs work. I think these are fun enough. Yeah, those are fun. Item frames. The rails. We got the different kinds of rail here. The mine carts. They do have, 2D textures for the wheels. There's a goat in a minecart, so that's our first look at a mob. We'll see more mobs in a little while. Here's redstone stuff. And pottery is too new, just in general. Scaffolding. Banners. Here's boats. Nice colorful boats. Fun when somebody does something unusual with boats. And I think that having them all be like bright colors is fun. A lot of those are too new. We have several types of wood that are just too new for this pack. Tough is too new. Trial stuff, of course, is too new. Same with resin. There's the target. Is that the default target? That may or may not be the regular target. Here's the mob heads. So kind of a spoiler for some stuff later. Some of this may not be working properly, actually, now that I look at this. Like that looks like clothing, which should not be showing up on the piglin head there. And the dragon egg. Okay, let's go ahead and jump on back. Well, overall, I thought that the blocks were kind of on the simple side, but they're not unattractive. Some of them are detailed and some of them aren't. The major problem being just how old this pack is. Let's look at the armor and the weapons. Looks like we do have custom weapons, which is nice. And the armor are different from each other a little bit. The iron, gold, and diamond and netherite are the same geometry, but we do have a different leather armor at least. I think these are fun, and the swords look nice. There you go. Not used to a Pokemon clone having swords, are ya? There's the Elytra. That's kind of a fun, different Elytra. It's like I guess like a jetpack or something, or jet wings. Got fire coming off of the tips. There's the shield. Here's the turtle shell helmet and the different weapons. That's kind of a fun bow. Looks different. Let's look at some armor trims. As always, these are amethyst armor. Amethyst armor trims on an iron armor. Tripping over my words today. Looks like these may just be the default trims that are kind of not showing up perfectly on the custom armor. Or maybe they're supposed to be hovering off of the sleeves like that. I don't know. You know, I assume that that's just not rendering properly. There you go. That's what the armor trims look like. Yeah, here's weapons and tools. We already saw the swords, but I think these all look nice. They're fun. Interesting, different tools. They all look wildly different from each other. They didn't just slightly change the color and keep the same pattern for the different shovels or whatever. They're all actually different from each other. So credit where credit is due. They put in some effort in this pack back in the day. The respawn compass is too new. That's what the regular compass looks like. These do kind of look like accessories you would have in a Pokemon game. The horns are too new. That's the horse armor. Here's your potions. At least they have a few different shapes for potions. There's seeds. Here's the different foods. Yeah, I think that the foods look, I mean the items look nice. Ones that are actually custom. There's your music discs. They're like little, I guess, MP3 players with headphones sticking out of them. Or maybe they're supposed to be like iPods or something from back in the day. There's things in buckets. Yeah, the axolotl is just too new because they do have some custom things in buckets. Minerals. Here's some of the newer items, most of which are not going to be custom. Okay, so I think that the items are good. I think that's probably the strongest thing in this pack so far is like the tools look really nice. But let's go ahead and the armor is fine. I didn't have a problem with the armor. Here's what a couch would look like. Here's what a water cooler would look like. Here's the nether portal. It is animated. It's kind of just rotating like a spinny spiral. Let's look at mobs. Now this is going to be the biggest selling point of the whole pack other than the world. Obviously the world is the biggest selling point, but of the texture pack, these are going to be the best part. Here's chickens. They're fun little chickens. They're like wearing I don't know, clothes. Like, is that like a mining cap or something? I don't know. That's fun. Like the chicken. This is kind of what they look like when they're babies. This is the warm and cold chicken, but obviously they're not going to be custom. There's the bee. Now the chicken is showing up as custom, or the custom chicken is showing up, but the cow is not. We're having this issue lately where a lot of texture packs, the cow and the pig and sometimes the chicken just do not show up as custom when you're using a texture pack. They're just the default mobs, which is really disappointing. So I would have liked to have seen those, but here's the sheep. They have little, I guess those are horns, or maybe they're supposed to be antenna, or possibly an extra set of eyeballs. I don't know, but those are cute. The wolf and wolf armor. The wolf armor is not custom because it's too new, but the wolves are cute. Here's the polar bear. Oh, that's a fun polar bear. There's a lot of things with like horns. Like this guy looks like he has horns all over his body. So they did do some things to make them different from the standard geometry. Here's the ocelot. Kind of a fun ocelot too. They're all going for this very similar style, but the mobs have some personality in their faces, so it's not just squares. Like I've complained before about texture packs having too little detail in their mobs, but I think the faces sell these. There's the cat. The mushroom is the default mushroom, just with the custom mushrooms. Here's a bat. The glasses. This is probably the clearest glass that we've seen in a long time. You could very easily forget that there's glass here. Here's the parrot. Let's get a better look at the parrots. There you go. They have different patterns and stuff on them. There's one that's flying. The rabbits. They're also cute. And the llamas. Nice big smiley faces on the llamas. The horses. Looks like the horses have very short necks. That's the biggest difference with the horse, I guess, is they're well, there's other little differences about them too, but you know, they're very stubby. Horses and horse armor. Kind of strange seeing them with such short necks. The donkey and the mule, very similar to the horse, just different ears. The skeleton horse and zombie horse. Very zombified zombie horse. Got bones sticking out. Tropical fish. I'm going to jump in the water with them. That's what they look like. Here's the cod. There you go. Pretty basic cod. Everything has this same square pattern on their bodies, but they're going for a consistent theme. This is the puffer fish. That's what they look like in the different stages of puffiness. Salmon. Yes, I pronounced it that way on purpose. The dolphin is going to have to be spawned in. Dolphin. There you go. So yeah, he's got custom geometry. He's got kind of almost a horn on his head, or some kind of bump on his forehead. The sea turtle also has a similar thing going on. The panda has a big thing on its, I guess that's like a tail. Whoa, what is going on there, panda? Why are you holding your head in your hands? Why are you handing me your head, panda? Go back to normal. Don't do that. Something went wrong with the panda. Here's the fox. There you go. The creeper has kind of a fun thing going on where it's like encased in ice. Interesting. Very different creeper. Enderman, we're gonna have to go out here and find one. There's one. Come back here, Enderman. There you go, that's what they look like. At least they've got some color on them. They're not just all one color. Silverfish, kind of the most normal looking mob we've seen in this pack so far. Although they've got little antennae. The skeleton. Look over this way, skeleton. We'll look at the wither skeleton in the meantime. There you go, that's what they look like. They're kind of fun too. Stray. Slime. It does have a face. Spider and cave spider. Do they have a different pattern? They do, I guess. Their pattern is slightly different from each other, at least. There you go, that's what they look like. Here's the zombie. Easy to tell what everything is. The bog is too new. The husk. Drowned. Go ahead and jump in here with the drowned. Get a better look at them. Kind of a seaweed covered zombie. Here's the squid and glow squid. Okay, these guys are fun. They kind of have a different thing going on. I'm not sure the glow squid is rendering properly, but the regular squid looks nice. Yeah, I think something's wrong with the glow squid. I'm not sure if that's because the glow squid came out after this pack was updated or what, but I don't know. Well, their textures are different from each other, so I guess I don't know. I'm not sure what happened there. Here's the witch. Kind of a different witch. Looks more human than usual. The guardian and elder guardian. Gonna have to spawn an endermite in here. There you go. It's got a fin on its back and an eyeball. The magma cube. Looks like the magma cube is default. The strider. Whoa, okay. The strider has one leg. Why is that? Is that an artistic choice or did something go wrong with the strider? I'll leave it up to you to decide. Oh, it's just spinning around in circles today. Here's the Zoglin, the zombified hoglin. It's zombified, but not horrific. Zombie, yeah, the zombie piglins do not work. Okay, we got some busted mobs in this pack, unfortunately. They are going to have to lose some points for that. Here's the, it looks like goats are too new. Axolotls, like I was saying before, axolotls are too new. The Allay are too new. A lot of mobs are too new. The frog as well. Wow. Please update this pack with all of these mobs that have come out recently, guys. If the creators of this pack are watching this video somehow, please update your pack because I like what you're doing. It's just the age is really taking some major points off here. That's what the wandering trader and the trader's llamas look like. Here's the blaze. It has horns and like eyeballs. The ghast. We'll get a better look at the ghast when we check out the nether, but that's what that looks like. The shulker. Here's the vindicator and the evoker. I'll get a better look at them. Okay, the evoker's like a mad scientist or something. Let's look at the villagers. How many villager faces are we gonna have? Looks like one, but they've got their different outfits. That's fun. So there's some, you know, they've kind of put some amount of effort into making the outfits look interesting, or like they all fit together in the same world. Zombie villagers. The phantom Kind of hard to see him and when he's always going up into the ceiling. A pillager. The pillager looks like. They just look like people. So they've kind of demonstrified some of the more monstrous mobs. Here's the humanoid mobs that are, you know, I don't know. I guess normally they just look like different villagers, like evil villagers. But anyway, here's the Ravager. That's what the Ravager looks like. Pretty much what you'd expect from this pack. The Iron Golem and Damaged Iron Golem. You can tell which one is damaged. So that's good. There you go. That's what they look like. Snow Golem and Snow Golem with its pumpkin carved off. Fun. Sniffer is too new. Armadillo is too new. Warden is way too new. Breeze is definitely too new. Not even going to slow down on them. Here's what the Wither looks like. This pack, the Wither existed when this pack was updated last. It was probably pretty new when this pack came out, actually. I don't remember when the Wither was added, and the creaking is too new. Okay, let's go. The mobs are fun when they're custom. The ones that were made recently enough to. What's going on here? Okay, I was turned sideways in the portal for some reason. I guess like I came through the portal the wrong way or whatever. Anyway, I think the mobs are fun, and probably the best part of the pack. But no, I guess I'd still say so far that the items were still my favorite part of the pack. Here's Hoglins. We're in the Nether now, in case you couldn't tell. Regular non-zombified Hoglins. I think the mobs look enough like Pokemon that, well, it's not that they look like Pokemon. They look like they belong in a monster catching game, which is what they're going for. Here's the respawn anchor. What happened to my other respawn anchor? That's weird. I guess I didn't add in the, okay. Well, hold on. I will light a, respawn anchor. We will set that there, because for the longest time I just had the... Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's what that looks like when it's lit up. There you go. The piglins. Yeah, okay. So one of these piglins is default, and the other one is just not working in the slightest. So that's definitely a problem. There were a few mobs that just were not working properly. Get a better look at the ghast, because this is one of the more fun mobs in this pack. Come on, face this way. There you go. That's what they look like. We will fly out here to another biome and look at the forest real quick. So, yeah, here's what the leaves on the trees and the vines and stuff look like in the Nether. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the Stronghold Below template world. Alrighty, if you would like to create a world very similar to this one, this is the Stronghold Below template world. To create one like this with the stronghold right about here, when you're creating a new world from scratch, next to where you would input a custom seed, there's a button for templates. This one is called Stronghold Below. You start out in or around this frozen village, this ice village, and it's quick access to the end. Here's what villager houses look like in this pack. They're kind of very monochrome in this pack. Let's go and fly this way. Here's what ice and frozen water looks like. It looks like the frozen water is the same exact texture as the ice, actually. That's kind of disappointing. Not what you want, right? What are these guys? These are sheep. Okay. Fly over this way. Look at the haunted village so we can see a cobweb. I could have added the cobweb to the regular world a year ago, but I decided not to because that gives me an excuse to show off a different village. So here's what more villager houses look like. This is like the haunted village or whatever you want to call it. There's the pig house with the cold pigs, the default cold pigs. Let's go ahead and go check out the stronghold. Oh, I didn't set off a firework. That's right. Let's grab a firework real quick. Yeah, because I didn't have it in my hand in that other world. Bottle of enchanting. I don't think we're gonna need the pumpkin pie in this world. There you go. Whoa. Did that dude just disappear entirely? There's no animation for the exploding firework. I've never seen that before. It just turns invisible. Dude, that's disappointing. That's creepy. That's, well, not necessarily creepy, but I've never seen that happen before. I've never seen somebody mess that up. Here's the bottle of enchanting. Kind of a standard swirly effect there. Drink a potion of strength, but it's going to be the same swirls as usual. Goat horns, I think, are too new as a concept. Fire and reload the crossbow. That looks fine. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump down into the stronghold here. Down we go. Here's what the stronghold looks like. I do feel like the other pack that we did, the NostalGea pack, pronounced that way. I pronounced it that way because the G is capital. But yeah, I do feel like that pack did a better job of looking like a Game Boy game or like an old Pokemon game. But yeah, here is the end portal. That's fun. It's just squares, but it's nice colors of squares. Go ahead and jump on in. So go check out the NostalGea pack if you're looking for an alternative to this pack. If you're looking for just a texture pack that makes it look like an old game. Here's a better look at the Endermen. They're fun. I like when somebody goes off script for their color schemes on mobs. Makes them look different. Here is the End Crystal and the Ender Dragon. There you go. That's what the Ender Dragon looks like. It's got friendly eyes despite being the final boss. So yeah, what are my thoughts on this pack? It's really old. That is the biggest problem that I have with this pack. I feel like everything else is fine. It's not really doing anything all that wild in terms of the designs and stuff. I mean, the mobs had some different geometry and stuff, so that deserves some credit that they did something different. But a lot of the, you know, and the items were nice too. So I don't know, but there were some major problems, mostly to do with its age. Some of the mobs and stuff might have worked once, but they don't now. And it really, like, it is desperately in need for an update. So I can't really give it more than like a 3 out of 5 in terms of the final score. But I enjoyed looking at it. I especially enjoyed the items. But you can't sell a texture pack just on items alone. But like, you know, I haven't played the world that comes with this. If I do that, it's going to be in a separate video, because I've kind of figured out that when I have my videos go on too long, especially with the mashup packs, like nobody watches them. So, you know. Anyway, I'll wrap this up. All right, thanks for joining me. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Thank you. Please like, subscribe, and share. They found